This video is going to be about how I install the rear shocks on a 2002 Ford Focus. This process is almost identical for all Ford Focuses. First, you want to start by removing the trunk interior fender covers. Next, you are going to gently peel back the foam covering the top nut and the upper shock mount. To remove the upper nut, you are going to need to use 2 wrenches or 1 wrench and something else to clamp onto the top of the shock to prevent it from spinning. Once the nut is loose, you can use a socket to speed up the removal process. This is what the upper shock mount looks like. Mine looked fine, so I did not need to replace it. I have a replacement part link in the description. Next, I went under the vehicle and used a 15mm impact socket to remove the lower bolt. You can use a normal ratchet if you need to. This is what the old shocks looked like. I did not realize that they were actually this bad. The shock that I chose for this project are the KYB AGX Adjustable Gas Shocks. The part number is 741067, and a link is also listed in the description. I purchased these off of Amazon for $65 each. This was a great deal because it came with the upper shock mount that I would have normally had to purchase for $21 in a kit. I purchased these shocks to help with fine-tuning for my towing project. These shocks are also a cheap way to add performance to your vehicle. Many people use them for race applications since they offer up to 125% more dampening power than stock. This is a side comparison of the 2 shocks. There is one step that you must do before switching over to the new shocks. This is to remove the top cap and reinstall it onto the new shock. If this is broken, the part comes in the kit listed above in the description. Now it's time to put the new shocks back into the vehicle. I started by pushing the extended shock up through the upper hole. Then I compressed the shock to install the lower bolt into the mount. Once finished, I moved up to the top to finish the installation. Install the upper mount and replace the nut onto the stud. Just as a side note, the nut for the top is now smaller. You will need it to use a 12mm to tighten it. Repeat the same processes as before when you were loosening up the shock. After the nut is tight, cover back up the shock with the adhesive foam and replace the interior panels. This is what the shocks look like inside the vehicle. The adjustments are extremely easy to get to even with the car down on the ground. Installation was quick and easy. Total time for this job was only about 30 minutes with filming. The shocks came set at level 4 and I have left them there for a break-in period. These shocks were hard as a rock when I first started my test drive, but quickly loosened up after a few miles. Their first real test is going to be on a 2,200-mile cross-country towing trip, where I'm going to be towing my bike all the way from Colorado to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Subscribe to get updates on this project and see more videos about this vehicle. Thanks for watching.